guys, welcome back to my channel. So I just want to thank you for clicking onto my this chair is like, it's gonna sound like I'm farting, but I'm really not. So today I'm gonna be talking about interviewing and how to do well on an interview. And I just want to do a quick disclaimer. This does not mean that you're gonna get the job, so don't come for me in the comments saying you tried these tips and it didn't work out 100%. These are just good tips in order for you to prepare for an interview and to do well, but just depending on the interviewer, you might not get the job because people are going to be who they are. They're going to be selective. They're going to be biased just depending on how you look and if you have the right fit. So just depending on what industry you're trying to go into, you have to try to adjust yourself to be a part of what they're looking for, because working for a company, you're a representation of the company. So like if you're interviewing for like a makeup counter and you don't wear makeup, most likely you're not going to get the job because you kind of have to wear makeup. So yeah, so if you guys want to learn some tips on how to do well on an interview, then just stay tuned. Okay, so the first thing I want to tell you guys is to relax and breathe. I just recently got an interview for a company that I'm like so excited to work for, and I'm just going to put that into the universe that I already work there, but I don't yet, so fingers crossed. So just relax, breathe, don't get too hyped up because you're a possible candidate. You are, even though you do tell yourself that you got it, don't get too riled up in it where you're like, oh my god, I don't know if I can do this, because that's what I did. Like I psyched myself right before, like as soon as I got the interview, like I literally just had an anxiety attack. I like almost passed out. I was having heat flashes, like it was crazy, like my heart was racing, everything was happening at once, and I'm like, just breathe and relax. When you get like really excited about an interview, or when you get nervous about an interview, everything bad can happen. So the only thing that you can really do is just try to relax and try to find like different methods in order to relax you, whether it's yoga, whether it's listening to calm music, drinking some tea, whatever it is. Try to find a way to relax so you don't end up bugging out on the interview. So that's the major thing to do. Second of all, you want to look into fixing up your resume, making sure your resume is up to par. Have you updated your resume lately? If you put any recent jobs that you had, any type of extracurricular activities you've been involved with, any skills that you've like gained throughout, I don't know, what? Maybe you just joined a sorority or fraternity, or you may just have joined a club. You might want to put that on there just so that they can see that you're involved, just so that they can see that you're indulging in different things. And if it pertains to the job, then why not, you know, make it, basically your resume is a document just to make yourself look good. You can lie if you want. I personally don't recommend it because I've never done that before. You can lie if you want. You can just talk about all your past experiences. You can talk about your skills. You can talk about what you're doing right now. You can talk about, sorry guys, I'm on the phone with my boyfriend. But you could talk about the different things that you are involved with, and that will definitely make you stand out and make you a possible candidate. It depends on the job. So I personally applied to restaurants, I applied to retail jobs, I applied to makeup counters, well, one, but so it just depends on like what industry you're trying to get into. For retail, I know it's pretty biased because they're trying to sell, so they're trying to look for everyday beautiful people that would be attractive for people to want to buy, and people that have great customer service. So every store is different, so you have to try to customize your style, or if your style is already like the store, then you might just end up getting the job. Like I know for American Apparel, they have a certain kind of look they're going for. I know for Urban Outfitters, they're going for a different type of look. I mean, Urban Outfitters is a little bit more universal, but they have a certain look that they're going for. They're looking for a certain type of personality, you know, as opposed to like somewhere where it's like Lord and Taylor or like Neiman Marcus or something like that. Like every store has their traditional it girl or it boy that they're looking for to hire. So that's another thing that you want to may consider. So if you're going for a job for TJ Maxx or something like that, like Marshalls, you might not dress the same as you're going to like Lord and Taylor. Like it's very different. So that's something to consider. Updating your resume and trying to dress appropriate for the job. So let's fast forward into like actually getting the interview. Okay, you got the interview. Make sure that if you're applying for a job where it involves fashion or art, make sure you have a resume. Not a resume, make sure you have a portfolio so that they can see all of your work. And you're basically selling yourself on an interview, so you want to make sure that you have images of your work. Even if you bring an iPad, that's what I did. I brought my iPad and I had like a little slideshow. I made like a album with all my work, well, all my best work, because sometimes with interviews they don't really want to sit there and look through every single last thing. They want to browse through certain things. So just having some type of display where you're able to show your work, you put your best work forward, obviously, then you could probably put the not so good stuff behind. You can either put it in behind all those stuff or you can leave it out. I suggest you leave it out because nobody really cares to see things that are not good. Everybody has to start from somewhere. Like, I know some of my work isn't the best work that I produce, so the things that I'm confident about, I'm gonna put it out there. So that's the reason why I say that. So a portfolio, a resume, and dressing the part is really important. Making sure that your hair looks appropriate. And I know a lot of people have questions about natural hair on the interview. Personally, I don't really care. If you're natural and you want to go off and go in there with a fro, then wear your fro. Pick it out. Like, do what you're comfortable with. They want to see who you are. People don't really they don't critique. Well, they know they do critique, but people, they're attracted to what they want to see. And if you're not that, then you're just not made out for the company. And then that should really make you reconsider if this is a good company for you to work for, if they're not accepting you for who you are. Personally, my hair is very thin for my liking, so I did crochet braids, and there should be a video up on this hair. So if you didn't watch it, make sure to check the description box. It may be up. I might put it up after this or before. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, so I rock whatever hairstyle as long as I don't have like a loud color in, just depending on the store. I considered that because I really wanted to use the hair that I had from HeroicDisasterr, which I'll leave in the description box. You check out their website. I wanted to use that and do it like a pastel pink, but I had to reconsider that I'm doing interviews right now, so I have to be very neutral with my hair, and that's something to really reconsider, or that's something to consider when you're doing interviews. You want to make sure your hair is, you know, very neutral, so people, you don't have to have your hair a certain color or a certain style just for people to see that you have personality. Like, you can show your personality with your vibe, with the way you speak and present yourself. Like, so that's the reason why I tried to just stay neutral. But as far as hair, making sure your makeup is very neutral. Like, I was going to do a tutorial on this look, but I was rushing this morning, but I'm going to try my best to record one, most likely tomorrow. So this is the makeup look. It's very natural. I just have lashes on, no eyeshadow, and eyebrows, a glossy nude lip, and a soft contour with a soft highlight. And you guys know I'm always glowed up. I never do a soft highlight, but it is an interview, so I had to, and I went on interviews today, if you guys didn't know. But when you're going on interviews, you want to make sure your makeup is very light, very natural looking. Unless you're applying for somewhere like MAC, they have their own standards. I know for MAC you have to wear like a smoky eye. Doesn't mean that it has to be black. You can wear any type of smoky eye with a nude lip, and it has to be glossy. Like, they have a specific way of how they want your makeup done. So make sure you do your research on the company that you're applying for. Make sure you at least know 2 things about the company, and make sure that you go on like Glassdoor.com. They have a lot of information on there. No, I'm not sponsored by them, but they have, like, that's what helped me. I went on there and I typed in the company that I'm interviewing for, and they gave me like how much they get paid. They gave me interview questions. They gave me information about the company. They gave me feedback. Like, people that work there, they leave feedback on the website, and they talk about their experience at a certain location. information and they show the location and everything. So I really like that because it's kind of like ratemyprofessor.com, but for like jobs. It's a great resource for you guys to use. So if you guys are looking into going to an interview, or if you got an interview for a certain company, you may want to check out glassdoor.com. After you do that, what helped me as far as like preparing mentally for the job, I went on YouTube and I typed in interviews for the company or people that work at this particular company. And you may want to do that and see their responses to how their experience was. Don't go off of that, because I see a lot of videos on YouTube where people are complaining about every single last place they worked at. Let's be honest, working at a store or working for anybody is always shitty. It's never a fun job. It's what people, it's really what you make it, and the people that you work with will make the job easier for you to do and make you want to go to work. I mean, money makes you want to go to work, but sometimes with management, it could really discourage you and make you not want to go to work. But I see a lot of videos on YouTube, people saying, oh, the reason why I left Mac, or the reason why I left Sephora, or something like that. And I'm like, well, I kind of feel like anywhere you go, you're gonna have a certain like experience or a certain type of vibe that you're gonna get, because you're working with different people. You're gonna get different personalities. There's gonna be a situation that's gonna happen. It happens anywhere you go. So don't go off of the videos and say, oh, I don't want to work here because of that. Unless the company has like a tradition of having a bad reputation, then you may not want to work for the company. So watching YouTube videos, glassdoor.com is really good sources, and having a portfolio is really good. So let's go on to actually being in an interview. So a lot of people, like, when you go on an interview, you want to speak a certain way, you want to have a certain posture. Posture is really important. Slouching is unacceptable. Twiddling with your fingers are unacceptable. Twinkling. I'm doing a video. Not looking at your interviewer and not having great contact is like the worst thing that you can do, because they want to see if you're connected and if you're comfortable looking people into their eye. I feel like that's the most persuasive way in order to sell, is to have eye contact and not feel like weird by like having eye contact with your customer, if that makes sense. So I feel like that's one thing that you really want to practice, is just being able to look people in the eye and just speak to them and converse with them, and just to be able to articulate yourself in a way where it doesn't seem forced, or it doesn't seem like you just read 10 chapters of the dictionary just to make yourself look smart on an interview. You don't have to use the biggest words, because most likely the interviewer is probably not anywhere older than you, nor college educated. Like, it's not required to be, you know, uber smart. Like, it's not really that necessary. But if you have a great vocabulary, then express that if that's you. But don't feel the need to say certain things just because. The things that you need to be saying is what's in the description for the job. When you apply for the job, they give you a description of what they're looking for. So if you are looking for a job and you find one and you see the description, read that thoroughly and try to keep that in the back of your mind. Not saying when you go on an interview you say exactly what's in the description, but you keep it in mind of what they're looking for, just so that, you know, they're like, okay, well, this person is paying attention. This person fits the criteria of what we're looking for. That's really important. Speaking about your experiences, being very open, where it's not vulgar nor selling yourself way too hard. I feel like those are two different like areas on the scale that people tend to like go over on interviews. But like, people most likely would do things where they want to like overcompensate and show off, and they end up looking dumb, because you can tell some people are very good at acting, which makes them very good interviewees. Is that the word? Interviewees. So they're able to talk about things that may not have happened, but they're really good at lying and bullshitting. So I feel like if you could get away with that, then do it. But just talk about things that you do on a daily basis. Like, on every interview at this point, I talk about my YouTube channel, and I talk about the fact that I do photography on the side for myself. And then I talk about my makeup artistry, just so that they can see that I'm involved and I'm doing things that are very artistic and I'm active and I'm not just lounging around waiting for a job. I think that's really, really important because people want to see that you don't really need them. They need you more. They need strong people on their team. They need people that are self-driven and people that are leaders. So those are really good things to talk about. If you do have the same interest in me, then talk about it. Be open. It is a part of you at this point. It is your lifestyle. So don't feel afraid to speak about it. If you're into Naruto or I don't know, like Yu-Gi-Oh or something, talk about it. If that's what you're really into, then just talk about it. That's what when they ask, what can you tell me about yourself? Don't talk about the fact that you went to Princeton and talk about your parents have like 6 houses in the Hamptons. Be yourself. Be very relatable. I'm not saying you have to walk in and be like, just try to be very upbeat, smile, but not too much. Be very casual. It's a very hard way to explain how to be on an interview because like you have to be this way and like somewhat toned down at the same time, but you have to be this way and kind of tone it down just a little bit. Like you have to find your balance when it comes to interviews. You want to show 90% of yourself, and then the ratchetness, like that 10% is the ratchetness, you don't really want to show down an interview because they're not trying to hear that. Nobody wants to see that. That's really my tips on how to do well on an interview. Own your situation and own who you are as a person because that's what's really going to make you stand out. Your uniqueness and you being true to yourself. I've been on 2 group interviews and I'm just going to talk about that briefly. And I got the job twice. Both times that I went on group interviews, I got the job. And in order to do that, you always want to go first. You always want to speak first. You always want to piggyback off of what someone says just so they know that you're listening. I think that people are afraid to do that, but you need to connect with the people that are in, even though this is technically your competition, you want to connect with them just so that people can see that you're listening and then elaborate on it. Show that you're interested and you actually were listening and you want to extend what they're saying. And answer all the questions. And what else? And prepare yourself prior. Make sure you're doing your research first. Just that when you go on a group interviews, because I know that sometimes on group interviews people get intimidated. They see other people talking. They say, damn, she took my answer. So while the person is speaking, even though you're listening in one ear, you're thinking about the next thing that you want to say just so that you stand out, dress very nice, speak very well, pronunciate every word just so that they can see that you speak very well. And I think that's really all that I need to tell you guys. It's pretty self-explanatory. I know a lot of people get very nervous on interviews. I get nervous, but like when I get there, I just literally, my whole body just relaxes. I go in saying that I got the job, and if I didn't get the job, then it's their loss. Like it's not even being cocky or arrogant, but people, you can hire anybody. You could literally hire anybody that you want, but not everyone could do the job, and not everyone can execute the job well. You know what I mean? Because what makes a successful company is bringing strong-minded leaders to your team and having them being able to work with other leaders to collaborate to make the company better. So if people don't see that in you, then maybe you need to work on yourself because you weren't as confident on the interview, or they didn't recognize the fact that you are a strong leader, and that's their loss. You have to make sure that when you're going on interviews or you're doing if you're job searching, you want to make sure that, or job hunting, when you're job hunting, you want to make sure that you keep your options open. Don't just apply for one job, apply for 10. Make sure you're applying for jobs every single night, just so that you always get a call. You always find an opportunity, so you're not just waiting on one. And don't limit yourself. Don't feel the need to say, oh, I'm not good enough to work here. Always put your best foot forward and strive for nothing but success. And I think that's really vital. So take that with you. And if you are looking for a job right now, just apply for everywhere. Just apply for anything that's open, and apply for jobs that you truly can see yourself working for. I'm not saying that you have to work there for 10, 15 years, but just apply for somewhere where you can bring who you are to the table and enhance the company. And if it doesn't work out in the long run, hey, I probably had 3 jobs last year, so what? You know, like, you just have to really just keep going, because that's life. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up and comment down below and let me know what you guys think. I don't really have a question for you guys, but if I do, I'll leave it on the screen. But comment, or I'm gonna start leaving questions in the comment box down below, so when you guys comment, you'll see it, you can answer down there. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe and follow me on Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter. And that is about it. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, found it helpful, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.